A reading from the book of Webster for the English-speaking folks. Let's see here. And it starts with C. You think it would have had bookmarks, right? Who knows how to spell contradiction? The contrary, that's pretty close. So the state contradict. To state the contrary of. To deny the truth. I heard this nice little rhyme once that said, know the truth and the truth will set you free. I also heard a nice little ditty that said that truth is discourse and the truth is relative. And that we're all free. So looking around the room, you'll probably see that I'm a little bit obsessed with patterns, right? Just a little bit obsessed with it. But I guess that's one of the fine things that makes us human, right? It's the ability to recognize patterns, you know? But you also see that ants behave in patterns, and that when bees make a hive, what's the shape of the hive? Who knows the shape of the hive? It's round, but honeycomb? No, the shape of a honeycomb is a hexagon. This is all interesting stuff. But you know what? There ain't nobody to be pretty for. Fuck that. You let it rattle. You let the caterpillar, you let the cataclysm wash. Who really listens? Precision with the verse draws a crowd. I'll draw a line between easy melody and peace of mind. I'll keep this game tweak, treat the same to its own things with the plain pain. Econo-lines for the dime class. This is a goddamn recession. Show a little respect, you Pfizer, baby. Look at how they hate, pilled out, bounce that liver off the top 8. Who got a fix for the fix? Bush no more. Nobody's like Dufresne. Search party at 4. Tell me, who's eating? I mean, well. Who's beaten? Shell toe, kick a hole. Who's cheating? Hell. Need it while you can't serve. Get swerved, get sleep, buy it up. Come on. They're out for presidents to represent them. You really think a president will represent you? You really think a president will represent you? They call me GMK, bold from the goat to the gold to them ice-cold bones, frozen from that Pittsburgh snow, and heating up the winter with the flow. Then make it rain, 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 go away, come again, brave, or will you bring a bit to help me grow? Meanwhile, I'm like a pro parade rainer, presented like a doom tree, sponsored like a rhyme set. No brainless if you aim at the aimless, the same small train, big drain on my patience. It's my act, my scene, my stage, my way, all day, all style, plus gut, cap cut. I'm fresh and clean, not pressed and mean. Swoosh or move, choose whatever behooves a dude to move through any mood with ease. Ravage the rules, ravishing mood. Randy Savage the fools, handy with tools, cutting my own key. Cattle to meat, sheep splitter, kettle kittle, handmade, handgunner, fan blade runner. Huh? I'm better than blessed. Promise of stress. I'm living and breathing, and motherfuck all the rest. Now what do? Exactly. And that's not like you don't do anything exactly, but it's more like, what exactly do you do? And then you hide your eyes and you can't describe what you've been missing. And you're fire blind and you can't describe why you've been laying down. We're laying down. You know, I can't tell if it's the bees or the stings, the honey or the wax or the wings, but people just Walmart what they worth. Roll back. They don't get to pick what you deserve. What exactly do you do? Sir? What exactly do you do? Miss? You tell me. Who the hell are you? Because I'm out of my element. I better shut up. Double, eat up, and ride. The dude abides. I was right on cue, thank you. Thank you all for coming. But there's this thing about artists and being self-righteous. And if I could smell my own ass, I would. And in fact, sometimes I do, because you know what? You can. It's not that hard. Some folks argue it's good for your health. You ever hear that? Yeah. Like what you've been eating. Right? And those of you who missed the first act, I did go on and on about the plastics. I didn't go on and on, I just kind of mentioned it once. But there is something about eating the flesh of another. There's something very peculiar about this, right? And it's something probably we all do. Why? Because it's cultural. In fact, we do a lot of things because they're cultural. We gather in groups and look at one person who stands on a stage wearing all sorts of imagery, professing something he believes is true. But I don't know about the truth. Because if I have found anything about the truth, is that it could change from this perspective to maybe it's a little bit different over here. I can see a whole different side of the room, and things have now changed. And this is peculiar. Why is this peculiar? Because as we look at the total unified whole of the universe, we'll notice that although it seems in perfect harmony, it's also quite chaos. Because the center is not only at the center, but it can be found within any other part of it. Now that sounds strange, doesn't it? But for those of you who understand holographic science, you'll know that this is the truth. That you could cut a holograph directly in half, and now you have two. And then you can cut each of those two in half, and then you have four of the same image. How does this work? I don't know. How does these patterns work? I can tell you how I made it, but I don't know why the circle is the circle. But I'll tell you one thing that I have found, that it's in the center. And if I should ever fall or get caught in the hustle, you let them know I died while I fought in a struggle. From a hood rat to a rich kid lost in a bubble, spray painted on streets and in subway tunnels. You write it down and remember, never give in. The mind of a child is where revolutions begin. And if the solution has never been to look at yourself, how is it that we expect to find it anywhere else? A lot of these words are plagiarized. I mean, what isn't, right? Try to find a song that isn't. In fact, when you listen to country music, you'll find it's all the same song. You listen to pop, dance club music, you'll realize this is all the same song, but it's a little different. Maybe it's because of that thing called perspective. Just maybe. But there's something about diversity, right? There's something humbling when you realize that all these different points come together and create a whole, right? Is this not the true value of Americans? Were we not built by people who fled the oppression of others? But what happened? Something happened. Here we are. We're at a threshold here. Well, we're about to face a fucking demonic plague that strikes the fucking fear into the hearts and souls of those who truly only really want to go home at night, eat some good food, maybe get a little smoochy with a loved one, lay down next to someone with a similar heartbeat, feel the loving embrace of a woman or a man or whatever, ever anything is. The loving embrace of another. Doesn't matter what it is. There's a lady who married the Eiffel Tower. God fucking bless her. And that's the truth. She's an Olympian archer. You can look that up. There's also a lady who married a Ferris wheel. And you know what? That lady loved that Ferris wheel. And you know what? I bet the Ferris wheel loved her too. And none of us should stand in between the Ferris wheel and that lady. Because that's what true love is. And true care is. This world is perpetuated by true love. We've only made it this far before true love. And let's not take it for granted. You know, we all know these things. And this self-righteous attitude at this point should seem stupid to you. You should be saying, duh, because it is the truth, that it is so obvious and in our face. But if I go back to what I said before, this is my problem, right? It's within me. And you all get to witness what it's like to see a true contradiction in my own mind and then the denial of true love. What about it is scary? Nothing really. But I bomb atomically. And Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define why I'm dropping these mockeries. Lyrically performing armed robbery, fleeing with the lottery, possibly you've spotted me. A battle-scarred shogun, explosive when my pen hits, tremendous. Ultraviolet shine, blind forensics. I'll inspect you through the future sea millennium. Killer bees sold 50 gold, 60 platinum. They shackle the masses with drastic rap tactics. Their graphic displays melt steel like blacksmiths. Those black wool jackets, the queen bees ease those guns in. Rumble with patrolmen, tear gas lace the function. Heads by the floor take flight inside a war. Chicks hit the floor, die hard fans demand more. Behold a bold soldier. Control the globe slowly. Proceed to blow. I'll swing a sword like shinobi. Stomp ground, pound footprints in solid rock. I got it locked, y'all. I'm performing live on your hottest block. But as the world turns, I'll spread like germs and bless the globe with a pestilence. The hard-headed never learn. It's my testament to those burned. Play my position in the game of life, standing firm on foreign ground. I'll jump the gun out the frying pan into the fire, transform into a ghost rider, a six-pack, and a streetcar named Desire. Who got my back in the line of fire? Hold me back. What? My people, if you with me, where the fuck you at? Kids are strapped, trying to twist beer caps. This is court adjourned from the bad seed, from bad sperm. Herb got my wig fried like a bad perm. Plus these bloods, clots. We smoke pot and blow spots. You want to think twice? I think not. This iron lung ain't got to tell you where it's coming from. The guns in Navarone will tear up your battle zone and rip through your slum. But this track renders helpless and suffers from multiple stab wounds and it leaks sounds that's heard. 93 million miles away from came one to represent a nation. And this is the gathering of the people who come to pay respects to a holy moment. And as we engage in battle, the crowd now screams in rage. The High Chief GMK takes the stage, but light was provided through sparks of energy from the mind to travel in rhyme form, giving sight to the blind. The dumb are mostly intrigued by a drum. Death only one can save self from. This relentless attack of a track spared none. It's the Wu-Tang Clan. They're pretty cool. Thank you. But looking back on the reading, and looking back on a true contradiction, us artists, we are the greatest thieves. But I'll tell you that what I steal are the things that interest me the most. They're the things that interest me the most because they're the things that perplex me the most. They perplex me the most because they're the things that are undeniably whole. Right? So I encourage all of you to take a greater look at the shape of things around you. Not only the shape of things, but the patterns of the behaviors that are created between the shapes of these things. Because now, above any other time in our past, it seems like we have let these patterns slip into the hands of others. And now it's easy to claim the other as being different, but realize that it is you. And it's me too. And I'm ashamed of the fact that we've gotten into this mess in the first place. But I know a lot of you here voted for Bernie too. So come 2020, when the Return of the Jedi strikes, I'll see all members of the Resistance in the front line to fight the Empire. Who wants some Kool-Aid? No, seriously, Adrian, you want some Kool-Aid? All right, we're going to hit the music back on. This will be now informal. Thank you all for your attention.
was so awesome. Oh my God.